Hi everyone, welcome to the online presentation on information exchange. Information exchange is used to recover data from your database and manipulate the data. It's either to change prices or other stuff, or you can use it to enter or create new products for your database using an Excel file. So basically we'll be going all through the process of recovering some files, some data from the database, and how to re-enter the data after we have modified it. Okay. Oops. Sorry about this. Okay, so the information exchange can be found in the stock inventory management menu, and it's at position 13, information exchange. The information exchange contains 7 options. The option number 1 and number 2 are used to recover data from your system so that you can recover it into an Excel sheet to change prices, to add new UPC codes, to add new UPC codes or unit of measures to some items. So there's all kind of manipulation that you can do on using the data you've recovered. Okay, so if we enter option number 1, okay, here we see that we can recover the data by supplier. If we do not want to, if we want to recover all of the information about in all the database, we can change the supplier number by a percent sign, and that's going to provide us all of the items that we require from all the vendors. We can specify a range of items also. For example, from all suppliers, we can ask for all items from, for example, supplier 27. So that's going to extract us. That's another way of putting the 0027 here and going blanks to Z here. So there's some all kinds of manipulation that we can do. We can ask for all of the suppliers, all the items that are active or that have another active. We can select by division, department, category. We can use any combination of those 3 parameters to get our stock. If you have more than one store or one warehouse, you can specify the warehouse. We're going to always include all of the logical codes. Some extraction can be done based on the logical code too. The delimiter, there are several kinds of delimiter that can be used, but the easiest way to do it is using the tab, T-A-B delimiter. When we are going to work with Excel, you will understand why I chose tab. So we just hit escape. Oh, sorry. I'm taking that like this. So you see, as the system works, we have the system displays different lines with a certain number of rows extracted. So that's the number of product that the system has extracted about our reflecting our request. So in this case, we have downloaded, we have extracted 210 items or 210 rows that have been put into a temporary table. Okay. The extraction part is done, and this is where we recover the our products in the copy file. You have, depending on the configuration on your system, especially if you're using a PC to do the job, it is very useful to use option number 1, copy file on the PC hard disk. By doing that, the system loads into your system into COGC, a file that is called prod, P-R-O-D. Okay? So at this point, we need to, now that the file has been transferred onto the PC, we use Excel to open the file. Okay, in Excel we asked, sorry about my PC, my Excel program being in French, but this is open. So in open, I go into my computer and then into C and COGC, and I specify all files as the type file, and here I can recover my prod file, the ones that was transferred onto my PC. If you notice the icon next to that prod file, it looks like a binder. It doesn't have any specific icon like the one which is a text file right underneath. So this is the one that we want to recover. This file has no extension, so that means that there is no .txt of any kind. So it's just a file with a name, no extension. So if I double click on that, the system tells me that the file does not have any extension, and it wants us to confirm if you want to open the file. So if you answer yes, you have a wizard that opens up. As you see here at the bottom, we have the data as it is saved in the file. Okay, so here make sure that delimited is selected, and then you click on next. You see, I asked earlier to have a file created with tab separators. Now, since tab is automatically selected by the wizard, you see that all of my columns are kind of already all in place. So depending on the delimiter that you used, you might have to change for a colon, a comma, space, or you specify the other choice that you had. Okay, and then, so since we selected tabulation, everything is there. Here we have a text indicator, but we never work with the text indicator. So make sure you select none here. Otherwise, if you have single or double quotes in your descriptions, Excel will try to always try to find an opening and closing quote. So make sure that you select none in this part to indicate the text indicator identifier. Now, this part is a little bit tricky because since we have for example, in the second column, we have strings of characters that begin with zeros, okay, as it is the case with 000111111. If we don't want to lose those leading zeros, we have to tell the system to convert everything into text. So in order to do that, the first column is already selected. Okay, so with the bar underneath, you go right to the last column, and you hold the shift key, and then you click on the standard in the last column. That's going to select all of the worksheet, all of the columns that are that composes the file, and make sure to come up here to indicate that those are text. So as you can see, it changed from standard to text right over here at the top of the items. Okay, and now all you have to do is click finish. So as you can see, our data has been recovered everywhere in the system. Another reason why it is important to convert everything to text, okay, is those numbers which are UPC codes, okay. If you don't tell the system or Excel that those are UPC codes, text fields, it will convert them as this one, as you can see here with an exponent. It's considering that as a number. Okay. In this case, okay, we haven't been able to select this column to tell the system that it was a text line, so we're losing the text configuration, and there's nothing we can do about this. This is because of the way Excel is written. It showed us only part of the file, so we're losing everything here as about the format. So just be careful with that. Now, if you want to see when you select the square here at the intersection of the column A and line 1, if you select if you click on this, you select everything in the in Excel, and when you position between two columns and double click at that point, you see that all of the columns have been set to some length to show the entire content of the longest field in the column. Okay, and now we can start to manipulate the spreadsheet to change our things. Okay, so right now I'm going to close this. I've already worked on another file that I arranged to have a good layout and realistic figures. So just a second, here it is. All right. So I'm going through the process of recovering the data in this. Oh, hi, Charmaine. So I'm selecting all of those, and I indicate it's text file. Okay, this is one file that I've extracted. Earlier from another system with real figures. Okay, so you can proceed like this with a real system, with a real file, to create new items. In the first line, I inserted a line in column 1. Okay, here I've put a reminder of what the column is used to, which information the column contains. An example, in column A, it's the supplier code, then the supplier product code, the product code, microfiche field from the inventory file, the English description, French description, and so on. So it reminds me always of what is the information that the column contains. There are some fields that you can, without any problem, leave blank, but others, it is suggested to always fill it in. For example, this one for the inner, that indicates if the product has an inner pack, it's always a good idea to enter no, yes or no, and the inner pack indicate the inner pack of the product. Okay, the unit of measure for stock, for sale, division, department, categories, it's always a good idea to put in something in there. Column O is for the bin location of the item, so you can manage your bin locations also using the information exchange. Then on P and Q you have min-maxes. If you don't use min and max, it's always a good idea to put them to 0 so that you don't run into any kind of problems. R indicates the warehouse. So if you want to recover, if you have several warehouses and you want to recover some items from one warehouse and transfer them into another warehouse, it is using the information exchange is a good way to do it, because all you do sorry, is change the warehouse in this column, and you're done. So you don't have to copy anything or re-enter manually everything. S is the average cost, T is your supplier cost, U is the information field of the inventory file, so it is all right to leave it blank. Column V sorry, is the status of the product, R is the type, W is the type, and then you have sorry, Y is the conversion factor. So if you have a different conversion factor than one, this is where you're going to put it. The conversion factor is always associated to the unit of measure for sales, which is right there. And in column Z, AA, and AB, you have your price 1, price 2, price 3 levels from the inventory file. And by the way, if you are not at version 11 of OGC, the layout of the spreadsheet is going to be different than the one that I'm using. You can contact me. I will provide you with the layout for your version. And finally, in DAC, you have the UPC code. Okay. If you have more than one unit of sales for an item, you can reuse the same pattern from column X to AC for to enter another unit of measure of sales. For example, here we could have box, which has a conversion factor maybe of 5, for example, and that is sold at $450.99, something like that. Okay, so you can do this easily in the system. And here, if you have a UPC code, the system is going to take it. So always make sure that the extra columns that you add are in text format. Okay. If we're not in text format, again, if you have leading zeros in the UPC code, the systems will try to eliminate those leading zeros. Okay, so now that we're done manipulating our Excel sheet. Okay, we are going to save it, save as, and we're going to save it in the root directory of our computer. So we go onto my computer into the C, and we save it as well as prod, but the file type was going to be text with tabulation as separators or delimiters. Okay, so you can select that from all the different formats that is available to you by clicking on the right arrow key right there. Then, okay, I'm in the root directory, so I can save. Since I already have a prod.txt file over there, it's asking confirmation to replace it. And yes, I want to save my file as a text file, although I'm losing some capabilities with that. So now I'm done with my Excel, and I'm back into my OGC. First step in recovering the file is to read the file. The read file option is going to take the file from my PC and it's going to transfer it onto the server. Okay, so it asks for, it's going to be looking for the prod.txt file, and it transfers it back to the server. That's done. Now that the file is there, it's going to load the data that is in the file into a verification table, a temporary table. Here, we can provide a specific supplier number, or we can use the supplier that we have provided into the file that we've just saved. So in this case, all files, items were for supplier 8888, so I can specify that, or the system is going to take the default supplier in the file using the %. If you do not specify in the spreadsheet a product code, you can have the system create a product code for you. Okay? For example, if I have 8888 as a supplier, okay, and the first 4 digits that I want for all of my items is 8888, system is going to use this information to create the new number in the system. Okay, since I already have items in the not items but product codes in my spreadsheet, I'm just leaving it to blank. Make sure that this field is always blank, because if there are spaces, the program is going to use those spaces and create a new product code beginning with spaces. So you want to make sure that it doesn't happen, and just to make sure that there is nothing in the in this parameter, hit Control D, the key Control and the D key to delete everything that is there. And here I'm telling the system what kind of delimiter I saved the file with. In this case, it was a tab file, so I use tab. So I just hit escape, and then the program has loaded the items that I had in the file that I recovered. Not recovered, but that I want to introduce into OGC. It has 54 items. Okay, and I can come into the data verification option. This is always a good idea to, before updating the system, to come back here and use this this screen to make some verification. If you see that something is not falling at the right place right from here, It is quite possible that the reason for that is that you have a missing column in the spreadsheet. So just check make sure that the information falls at the right place. So you see, earlier I added another unit of measure, conversion factor, and retail prices and UPC code to this first item. So my first item, my first unit of measure didn't have any UPC code. And the second one, as you can see here at the supplier product number, it is the same supplier product number, but I have a different unit of sale right there with the different conversion factor. So as you can see, this is how you can add new retail prices for different unit of measure. And if you have a lot of work, sometimes it's easier to go using a spreadsheet and then make the additions on yourself instead of going into query the inventory file, query the item, go down and then change into 40 and add the UPC code, associate the UPC code to not the associate a unit of measure to the new UPC code. Everything is done into one screen. Here, with option number 6, you simply return the information, or you enter the information into your inventory file. You specify the system if you want to update the description, if it already exists. It is possible that you don't want to overwrite the description for any kind of reason. Just put it to no. If you're creating new items in the database, it's going to take the information there and it's going to ignore these parameters. You have the possibility to update the last purchase cost of the item and the supplier cost. The only thing that you're not allowed to change through the information exchange as far as cost is concerned is the average cost of the items. The average cost is always calculated from receiving, whether it's a regular receiving or a without order or a transfer. And then you indicate the date that you want the prices for the items to become effective if they're not already there. So you just hit escape and system asks for confirmation, and there you go. So if we return into our inventory file, the items should be there. My database was cleared. Oh, okay. I know. Okay, so you see that my item is already there. The system has added my box as a unit of measure, and I already had the each for that item. And in the 40, it also added the UPC code with the unit of measure I gave it earlier. So when you load your data into the system, into the temporary table, and you realize that your information is incorrect here, the proper way to get rid of the entries in there is to purge all the records from the verification table. So you just answer yes, and when you return, you hit query escape and it's all gone. The option to transfer the products to the inventory file also clears the database into option number 5. If you want to see the progress of the transfer, if you have thousands of items to transfer, during the transfer you can always come here and make some query escape, and it's going to tell you at the bottom of the screen how many items are still to process. So sometimes it's fun to know how the program is doing and if the program is still running. So the presentation, that's about it for the presentation. So if you have questions that will come up after the presentation is finished, you can always contact us at our usual numbers and at support@ogcinc.ca, our support email address. We'll be happy to answer all of your questions, and if you encounter some problems, we're going to fix them. So thank you very much, and stay online to if you have any questions. Thank you.